In this episode for home buyers, we talk about one of the most important things, you need to know and you need to get right when you're trying to buy a home in this seller's market, multiple offer market. This is episode 33 of the Inside Real Estate Show with me, Darren Persinger of Persinger Group Real Estate, where we give you the insight behind the information, the analysis and advice to help you make smart home buying, home selling, or real estate investing decisions. Welcome to episode 33 of the Inside Real Estate Show. A lot of things going on today. Let me lay out the show for you. Got a new segment called The Number of the Day. We're going to do some housekeeping, and then we're going to get into the main topic, which if you're a home buyer and you're operating in the majority of markets throughout the country, you're especially feeling it in Snohomish County, where we primarily sell real estate as Persinger Group of Keller Williams. Definitely feeling it in King County, Pierce County, Skagit County, moving pretty much everywhere in Washington. And I'd say 80% of the markets throughout the country. You're feeling this. The market is favoring home sellers. You're probably dealing with multiple offer situations. We're going to get into one of the most important things you need to do to position yourself to try to buy a home in this market. But first, let's do this new segment, The Number of the Day.
What's the number? Stop, stop. What's the number? Stop, stop. What is the number? The number of the day.
63.5. 63.5. That number is the percentage of home ownership in the United States. Now, I want you to think about that number for a moment. And does that number seem high, low, or about right to you? And it gives a lot of context to what we're going to be talking about later in the main topic. Because if you understand this number, it tells us what potentially could be happening with the market. Is it going to be like this for a while? Is it going to be a seller's market for a while? Or are we going to go into a dip where home prices will potentially fall? Maybe you should just wait around and not buy right now. So this number of the day, 63.5, the home ownership rate in the United States, is actually one of the lowest it's been in a long, long, long time. So to give you some context for this number, at the peak of the real estate market, the home ownership rate was almost 70%. Now, here's what's interesting to me. So I just turned 38 10 days ago or so. And I was in real estate at that time. I owned 3 homes during that time period at the peak of the market when it started to crash, when the bubble started to burst. So if you're maybe a little bit younger and the idea of home ownership wasn't even on your mind, you might not know exactly what was going on during that time. But what's interesting to me about that number of 70% home ownership rate, just a quick side note, that one of the reasons we got into that problem was the government wanted home ownership rate high. They had good intentions. The intent was if people own homes, they care about their homes, they care about their neighborhood, they care about the community, school district gets better, neighborhoods get safer, all sorts of good things happen when people own their homes. Good intentions, but then they made the lending criteria too easy to get people into that, and that was part of the reason why we went down. But here's what's also interesting to me about that number. 70% is high considering how many investors, speculators, people that had no business whatsoever buying property, buying real estate at that time because they were looking for a get rich quick scheme there. So even though there was 70% that were owner occupied homes, there was a whole bunch of other people just purely investing and speculating, buying, holding, flipping, whatever, thinking that they were going to make a lot of money quickly in real estate. So to me, that number doesn't even tell the whole story. There was a lot more just pure investing going on. Where right now, what we're seeing is people like you are trying to buy and just owner occupy. That's a lot of what's going on right now. Okay? I had to go back to 1994, over 20 years ago, to find a home ownership rate even close to what it is now. In 1994, it was 63.8. So just remember the number of the day right now is 63.5. And I'll have a link where I found this data below in the YouTube description, or if you want to find it on our website, insiderealestateshow.com. So you can go check this data out for yourself. And I highly encourage you to do that because it just gives you more power to make the best decision for you on whether you should buy or not. You might be hearing people say, oh, this is feeling a lot like it was at the peak, bubble's gonna burst. Two different stories going on. The two different markets do not correlate at all with each other. To go back as far to find when it was 63.5 on my research, and if you find something else somewhere out there, or if I was looking at the data wrong, please let me know. But I had to go back to 1985. My wife wasn't even born in 1985. I had to go back to 1985, quarter four, the fourth quarter of 1985, to find the home ownership rate as low as what it is now. So that's the kind of market we're dealing with. The reason why you're seeing all these people jumping into the market is because there's so many people who don't own homes. You're not really dealing with a lot of investors, although it might feel like it, because you're feeling cash buyers out there. The truth is there's just a lot of people who don't own homes that want to own homes right now. The home ownership rate is low. And that's why you're feeling all this competition, all these other buyers out there, because there's so many other people that don't own homes that want to own homes. That's the number of the day. All right, let's get into do a little bit of housekeeping here.
Housekeeping!
I threw out a website earlier. I want to throw out that website again and another one. This show you can find at insiderealestateshow.com, okay, where we keep track of all of these episodes, and you can go and listen to the shows there if you'd prefer to, or you can watch this if you enjoy watching my handsome mug and our beautiful background here. Another website that I encourage you to check out if you maybe are looking to buy in the Snohomish County area, or you're living somewhere else and you're thinking about moving here and you're just not familiar with what's so great about Snohomish County, go to snowholife.com. snowholife.com. All right, I think that's all I got for... Yeah, I think that's all I got for housekeeping right now. So let's get into the main topic. So whether you've already started your home search or you're thinking about it, but you're hearing how crazy the market is, you're hearing that it's a competitive seller's market right now, that there's multiple offers going on every property out there, that it feels almost impossible to buy. Let me tell you what I believe to be the number one tip that you need right now. I did an episode on multiple offers, episode 29. So if you're watching this on YouTube, right there, you should see something pop out at you. Go watch that show right now where I talk about buying a home in multiple offer situations. If you're listening on the podcast, just go back to episode 29 where I talk about buying a home in multiple offer situations. And again, you can find this at insiderealestateshow.com. Here's what I believe to be the number one tip as you try to buy a home in this market. This has nothing to do with tactical approach or how to craft the offer in an elegant or possibly tricky way, how to do an escalation clause or bid more up, or do a rent back, whatever. There's lots of ways we can trick out the price and terms to make a strong offer. But if you don't have this in place, it's not going to help. And the thing that you need in this market, if you're thinking about buying a home, you need to get your head right. You need to have the right mindset. Just as the way you wouldn't want to get married to someone that you don't really want to get married to, if it's 6 months before your wedding and you're not feeling it, if it's a month before your wedding and you're not feeling it, if it's an hour before your wedding and you're just not feeling it, maybe you should listen to your gut on that. What happens is when you're thinking about buying a home in this market and you're getting bid up, and you're getting beat out on price and on terms, and you're losing out on the last 3, 4, 5 homes that you wrote offers on, then you get competitive and you just want to win, but you don't really want the house. You're not sure why you're even buying the house. There's all sorts of psychological things going on in that situation now. But you need to take a step back. You need to take a deep breath. You need to get refocused, reframed on why are you wanting to buy a house? Is it because you want a home? Is it because you want to mark lines on the wall as your kids are growing up, how tall they are? Is it that you don't want your rent to be increased after your lease is up? Is it that you want a yard for your dog or for your kids? Is it because you want to be closer to your commute, your work for your commute? Whatever your reasons are, you have to have complete clarity about why you're doing what you're doing and be 100% sure about this. You have to get your mindset right. Because if there's any doubt in your head about what you're doing, you're always going to make an offer that's not quite strong enough. You're always going to look for a way to get out. When you do get an offer accepted, you're going to do a sour grape type of thing of like, oh, the inspection didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. I want this perfect house. Oh, I just saw a home come on the market 2 weeks later that is listed a little bit lower than what we ended up paying for. Maybe we should get out of this contract and go try to get that one. There's always going to be something, if you don't have your mindset right, that's going to cause doubt and allow you to back out of it. So if you're not 100% sure about why you're buying a house right now in this market, I highly recommend don't even try. Just don't. Just forget about looking for homes online. Forget about talking to us. Forget about getting all your paperwork in line for your mortgage lender. Just forget about it. Go kayaking this weekend instead of looking at homes. Go for a hike instead of going to open houses. Sit around and catch up on a Netflix show instead of getting all your bank statements in order for your mortgage lender. However, if you are sure about wanting to buy a home, or you think you want to, but you're just not sure what you should do next or how you should view this process, and you want to talk to us, we'd be happy to do that. We can help bring some clarity to the situation if things are fuzzy for you. We'd be happy to do that. You can contact us at persingergroup.com, contact form, or email me directly, darren@persingergroup.com, or you can find me on Twitter at Darren Persinger. But I just wanted to leave you with that thought today, that if you're going to be trying to buy a house, getting this right, your head, is probably more important than getting all your paperwork in line or figuring out what your criteria is for the home that you're looking for. It starts here between your ears. Get your mindset right. Otherwise, this home buying experience is not going to be enjoyable at all. And we want it to be enjoyable because I'm here to remind you that home is what you make it. Make it someplace you love.